and welcome to the second part of the My Anime Academia stream. And today we are going to be talking more Dragon Ball Z, of course, because I've been rewatching it. But first, I'd like to mention a little petition that's going around. I had already posted it on Twitter and Facebook, but I'm going to repost it every now and then. Try and help and get as many signatures as I can because this is for the Bleach anime, and I really love that show. And I know there's a lot of other people out there that love that show because I had watched a video about it, and of course, the title was the voice actor who does the American voice for Ichigo, Johnny Young Bosch, had already signed it. Of course, he didn't start it, but he wants to support it because I'm sure he would love to be able to finish the story. Now, the story would be the Thousand Year Blood War, something like that. I don't read the manga because they put so much in the manga. There's so much more story in there that it always gets me upset that they didn't just do that with the show. But anyway, so after the stream, I will be posting that up again. I'll try to get it in the link down below too. But please, if you are a Bleach fan, please consider signing. Help help out. When I watched the video, it was at 60,000, and then when I had signed up, it was already at 70. So it had gained 10,000 signatures within that time, which is pretty crazy. But anyway, let's start with what we are all here for: Dragon Ball Z. Now, like I've said before, I've been rewatching it. I'm now at season 6, but I want to talk a little bit about season 5, and that's the Android Saga, the Imperfect Cell and Perfect Cell Saga, to be more specific. Android 17, 16, and 18 are still there, but this is when Cell gets them and becomes perfect and all that. Sorry if I'm spoiling for anyone that hasn't watched this far yet. Sorry, but it's what happens. Anyway, so I want to talk about three people who had fought Cell at very, very high points. And it was kind of unexpected of these fighters to either fight up against him or hold him off. Now, the first one is Piccolo. He fought Cell when he was completely imperfect. He hadn't even, absorbed 17 or 18 yet. And, he put up a pretty good fight. He was the Super Namek at the time. He had combined with Kami, and he had all these new powers. He had all this new strength. And he had went and fought Cell, but he didn't do good enough. And then later on, he tried to take out 17 instead to be able to stop Cell from becoming perfect at least. And that kind of failed because Cell showed up and he was stronger than ever. He was still imperfect, but he was way past the strength of 17 and Piccolo himself. And those two were going blow for blow. That's another fight that also shows the strength of Piccolo and how far he had become, other than, his fight with Cell. 17 was the strongest before Cell had gotten, he had absorbed all those people. That's how he got his strength. But anyway, let's talk about his fight with 17, Piccolo's fight with 17. Now, that fight was insane. He was literally going blow for blow with 17. Like, they were punching each other in the gut, kicking each other in the face back and forth. And, Piccolo still was keeping up with him. Even though the androids, they don't lose energy, they don't wear out. They just continue to stay at the same stamina completely. It's you that wears out, and that's how they beat you. But Piccolo, because he has such strong determination and willpower, he kept going for a while and still had the strength enough to be able to try to help fight off Cell, trying to get 17 and 18. But sadly they lost, and then 17 tried to fight him, and he was completely humiliated. And then next thing you know, Android 16, the second fighter I want to talk about now, he popped up out of nowhere. Now, Android 16 was made only for the purpose of destroying Goku. And honestly, at that point in time, if he would have fought Goku, I think Goku would have lost because Goku hasn't been training. He had that heart, disease he was still getting over. He had just gotten back on his feet. I don't even think they're training in the hyperbolic time chamber at this point. He mentioned it. I think they're on their way to go there. Yeah. Yeah, he wasn't training there yet because he was still sensing everything that was going on up at Kami's place. Vegeta and Trunks were training in the hyperbolic time chamber. But anyway, so we have uh dang, where was I? Okay, 16 fighting, about to fight Cell. Now, right now, like I said, Cell hasn't absorbed 17 or 18 yet, but he was still considered the most powerful being in the universe at this point because no one could beat him. But 16 had a chance. He was actually as strong as Cell. Dr. Gero made him extremely powerful. He was stronger than 17 and 18 all along, and nobody knew it, which wasn't that much of a surprise because Dr. Gero did warn them if they woke him, if they activated him, they'd be sorry. And he didn't finish his programming. So that's why 16 ended up fighting for the human race instead of, completing his orders. But anyway, he went up against Cell, and eventually Cell ended up still getting 17. But that fight was also amazing as well because, like I said, Cell was the most strongest at that time, but 16 was as strong as well. He didn't get to defeat him in time. That's all there really is to it. And then even after he absorbed 17, he still fought him. And he held his own for a little bit, but he got defeated, of course. And then right after that, now we're going to talk about the third fighter, Tien. Tien pops up out of nowhere. Okay, he's up in the sky and Cell's embracing his new body because he just absorbed 17. Now, this is a new pinnacle of power completely. Okay, he is damn near perfect at this point. Like, all he needs now is 18. All he needs is to absorb 18, and he's perfect. So, Tien uses his tri beam cannon to hold him off. Now, he held him off for quite some time. Tien did. This is Tien, the guy with the three eyes that has always been portrayed as one of the weaker fighters, which is true. But should we really pin him as that? If he could literally hold him off and Piccolo couldn't, and he was a super Namek at that time, I'm not trying to say that Tien's stronger than him, because if Tri-Beam Cannon was his strongest move, if it is his strongest move, in fact, it did no damage to him, but it did hold him off. He held him off for quite some time. You can tell that Tien did more than just surpass his limits. He did more than that. He could have more. He should have died. Honestly, I'm surprised he did not die. But that's just how strong he is. Because if anyone else did that, they more than likely would have died. But Tien held on. Tien was able to still hold him off, and it was an amazing feat. And that's what I wanted to talk about. There was three different fighters that pulled off amazing feats that doesn't really get shined on that much in Dragon Ball Z. A lot of people don't talk about it that much, but I wanted to talk about it, so that's all there is to it. And one more thing, I want to talk about one more thing, something that would have helped the Z fighters throughout the entire timeline. Obviously, this would have been a cheat code, obviously, but what is the best way to train in the Dragon Ball Z universe? Like, can anyone answer that? I can. I'm sure plenty more, but can come up with their own answers or come up with the same. I would say that the best way to train is either in a gravity room. If you're a Super Saiyan, obviously you're training as a Super Saiyan. If you train in a gravity room, obviously your strength's going to go up like crazy. We've all seen that. But the best way to train would be to train in the hyperbolic time chamber. Now, if you don't know what that is, the hyperbolic time chamber is a place where time is way, way different. One day there is an entire year out. Well, no, yeah, one day there for out here is an entire year in there, the hyperbolic time chamber. You're spending an entire year there, but one day out here. So I believe they said 1 minute or something like that is 6 hours. I think. I can't exactly remember. I'll have to refresh my memory on that. But either way, to be able to get that kind of training in that short amount of time, your power level is going to get even greater than training in a gravity room for a year. more than likely, because the gravity there itself is already heightened. And then, it, if you've watched the show, the room, it's a vast amount of space. Not vast, it's endless. It's literally an infinite amount of space, and you can get lost in there. So don't stray too far from the lookout in a way. But anyway, the plane changes though. It will get really hot, really cold, to test your limits. It will make it hot enough to make you test your own limits. Even as Super Saiyans, they were training in the hyperbolic time chamber, and it was so hot there that they were sweating and stuff. It would burn them. Pretty crazy, pretty crazy. But anyway, I would say the best place in way to train would be in the hyperbolic time chamber. And this is why I'm saying it would be a cheat code, because you could train in the hyperbolic time chamber for 2 days. That's 2 years worth of training. Okay. Of course, there's a little downside if you're going to get 2 years older if you do it, but you train there and then you can get out and then train in the what you call it, the gravity room. You can train there too. It's a complete and total cheat code. So why didn't they ever think about training there, when they were preparing for the Saiyans? I mean, even Piccolo knew about the hyperbolic time chamber. Like when he brought Gohan to go train, he should have brought him to the hyperbolic time chamber first. No, he should have left him out there for the 6 months and all that, but then brought him to the hyperbolic time chamber to train. And then when they were going to Planet Namek, Goku should have trained there first and then went on the spaceship and trained in the spaceship in his gravity room. He would have been a Super Saiyan far before even reaching Namek, okay? Now, like I said, it'd be a cheat code because every problem that they knew about, they could have just trained there. I mean, when they found out about the androids, when they found out about all of that, when Future Trunks came, what could they have done? Trained in the hyperbolic time chamber. Each year they had over, what was it? They had 3 years to prepare for the androids to come, and they didn't think once to train there all the way up until Cell comes. They waited until Cell came to train in the hyperbolic time chamber. I don't understand why the writers decided to do that, but it is what it is. I mean, the hyperbolic time chamber is complete and total cheat code. They should have never brought that in there, honestly. Because I'm just sitting here saying to myself, I mean, I have thought about this for a while, obviously, but it's just, why wouldn't they do this all the way back from season one? Like he could have been a Super Saiyan pretty much from season one. He could have been a Super Saiyan already. But it is what it is. I mean, I'm just saying, I don't know. Train in the hyperbolic time chamber, damn it. That's all I'm saying. Oh, man. Anyway, so once again, please look out for that petition that I have mentioned earlier in the stream. And if you are new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to get more from the rant. And, as always, YouTubers, leave a thumbs up, share, all that stuff. And as always, y'all keep on ranting.